It wasn't an accident. At first, nothing looked suspicious. The road was quiet, the car was damaged, and police called it an accident.
We need to talk.
They were wrong.
What is it?
It's important. Tell me what happened that night.
I wasn't there.
Your story has inconsistencies.
I'm telling the truth.
The call came in just after dawn. A single vehicle accident on a quiet county road. No witnesses, no signs of foul play. At least, that's what the dispatcher said. Officer Daniel Reeves arrived first. The road was empty, wrapped in early morning fog. A light drizzle had just ended, leaving the asphalt dark and slick. The car was off the road, resting at an odd angle against a cluster of trees. A silver sedan, front end damage, airbags deployed. From a distance, it looked like a textbook accident. Reeves stepped out of his cruiser and walked closer. The driver was still inside, male, mid-30s, seatbelt on. No visible signs of struggle, no skid marks leading up to the crash, but that wasn't unusual on a wet road. Paramedics pronounced him dead at the scene. Cause of death appeared obvious, blunt force trauma from the collision. Case closed, almost immediately. The man's name was Michael Turner, and within hours, everyone agreed on the same conclusion. It was a tragic accident. Michael Turner was 37 years old, married, one child, a steady job in commercial construction. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't known for speeding. He didn't drink heavily. Friends described him as careful, organized, predictable. The night before the crash, Michael had left his office at 6:10 p.m. He texted his wife, Laura, saying he'd be home soon. He never arrived. Laura reported him missing just before midnight. Police assured her it was likely a delay, a dead phone battery, a forgotten charger. They didn't find the car until morning. When Laura arrived at the scene, she collapsed. She told officers Michael hated driving that road, said it felt wrong at night. No one paid much attention to that detail. Grief makes people say things. The autopsy was scheduled for the following day. No one expected surprises. The medical examiner, Dr. Helen Moore, had been doing autopsies for over 20 years. She didn't rush. When she examined Michael Turner, the injuries matched the crash, mostly. But one thing caught her attention: a small bruise on the back of Michael's head. Not from impact with the headrest, different shape, different angle. She noted it. Then there was something else. Michael's hands. No defensive wounds, but faint abrasions on his palms, as if he'd grabbed something. Dr. Moore added the observations to a report, but didn't flag them as suspicious. At least, not yet. Meanwhile, the crash report was finalized. Cause: loss of vehicle control due to road conditions. Manner of death: accident. The case was officially closed. Michael Turner became another statistic, another name on a report, until someone asked a simple question.
2 weeks after the funeral, Laura Turner returned to the police station. She wasn't crying. She wasn't hysterical. She was calm. Too calm. "I want to see the crash photos," she said. The desk officer hesitated. "Ma'am, the case was ruled an accident." "I know," Laura replied. "I still want to see them." Detective Sarah Klein was called in. She'd worked homicides for over a decade. When Laura explained her concerns, Sarah listened. "Michael never took that road," Laura said. "Never. And he never drove fast. Ever." Sarah nodded politely. Then Laura said something that made her pause. "Michael called me," she continued, 10 minutes before he died." Sarah looked up. "That wasn't in the report." Laura shook her head. He sounded scared, she said. He said someone was following him. Silence filled the room. Sarah requested the phone records. The call was there. 10 minutes before the estimated time of death. A short call. 34 seconds. Sarah reopened the file. Just to be thorough. At first.
Detective Sarah Klein returned to the crash site 3 days after reopening the file. The weather was different now. Dry, clear, bright. What had once looked like a simple accident suddenly felt staged. She walked the road slowly, eyes fixed on the pavement. There were still no skid marks, not even faint ones. A driver losing control on a wet road would instinctively brake, even for a split second. Michael Turner hadn't. Sarah crouched near the shoulder where the sedan had left the road. The grass was flattened, but not torn. The car hadn't swerved wildly. It had drifted, almost gently. That didn't match panic. She asked for the vehicle to be re-examined. In the garage, the damage pattern raised another issue. The front-end impact explained most injuries, but not all. The bruise on the back of Michael's head. That would have occurred before the crash. Phone records told a story Michael never lived to explain. At 9:18 p.m., Michael called Laura. Duration 34 seconds. At 9:29 p.m., his phone lost signal. Estimated time of crash, 9:30 p.m. Sarah requested tower pings. Michael's phone showed erratic movement in the final minutes, speed changes that didn't align with normal driving. Then there was the voicemail Laura had never mentioned. Michael had started recording a voice note, likely by accident. It was only 9 seconds long, mostly road noise. But at the end, a sound. A sharp metallic knock. Not metal hitting metal, metal hitting glass. Sarah closed her eyes. Someone had struck the car. Sarah began looking for motive. Michael Turner had no criminal history, no known enemies, but his work raised questions. Michael had recently refused to approve a construction safety clearance. The decision delayed a multi-million-dollar project, one that belonged to a subcontractor named Evan Cross. Cross had a history of cutting corners and a temper. Witnesses later recalled Cross confronting Michael 2 days before the crash, raised voices, threats. Cross claimed he was home that night, but traffic cameras told a different story. A dark pickup truck had followed Michael's sedan for nearly 5 miles. Same route, same turns. The license plate was partially visible. Enough. Evan Cross was arrested 6 months later. Confronted with the evidence, he broke. He admitted to following Michael, admitted to confronting him on the road, but insisted he never meant to kill him. "I just wanted him to pull over," Cross said. "We argued. I hit the window. He panicked." Michael lost control seconds later. But the blow to the back of his head, that came earlier. Cross had struck him when Michael briefly stopped on the shoulder. One hit, enough to disorient him. The crash finished the job. The official ruling was changed. Manner of death? Homicide. Michael Turner hadn't died in an accident. He had been killed. Laura attended the sentencing quietly. She didn't cry. "Justice," she said later, "doesn't feel like relief. It feels like silence." At first, nothing looked suspicious. A quiet road, a damaged car, a simple explanation. But accidents don't make phone calls. They don't leave bruises in the wrong places. And they don't follow you home. Sometimes the most dangerous crimes are the ones that look ordinary, the ones everyone is ready to explain away.